Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over the 5 things that I don't exactly like about the all-new Lexus NX. Before getting into the video though, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. So the first thing is the infotainment system. Okay, so I guess we gotta pop into the NX and start it up. So we have this gigantic infotainment system that, well, on the surface, well, it takes forever to load up whenever you start up the car, which, no big deal. That's just kind of modern technology. But anyways, on the surface, pretty solid. You guys can see if I press buttons, response time is pretty good. But the one thing that this infotainment system lacks is physical buttons. We have this little button down here for the volume, and that is pretty much it. Lexus has completely gotten rid of their whole trackpad system. A lot of people complained about it, but I like the fact that they had cars with the trackpad and the infotainment screen so that you could like use the trackpad half the time and then the screen the other half the time. Whereas now you are forced to just use the screen, and because there's no like physical buttons on either side of the screen for shortcuts and all that stuff, everything's in the screen, which it has this shortcut bar which helps out a little bit. But like when I want to change music stations, I have to do this every single time, and it gets frustrating while driving. Now you guys will probably say, well, there's buttons on the steering wheel to do that. This is just for your favorites. This doesn't actually change from channel to channel, and it's something that a lot of automakers do, which I think is stupid. They should make it so that there's 2 different buttons on the steering wheel. One changes channel to channel and the other one goes through your favorites. But yeah, overall I just wish that there was more physical buttons with this system. Number 2 pertains to the drive modes. So here's our drive mode select. It's a dial and a button, and on the surface, again, something that is pretty straightforward. I guess I'll close the door so that it gets that stupid warning out of the way. You press in the button to go between the normal and the custom. You have like an eco mode, you've got a sport mode, and then you've got a sport plus mode, which has a cool graphic. And so again, on the surface, pretty fun. But what I've noticed with this car is there's not really a huge difference between like normal and sport plus mode. Like some cars, you can actually perceive a difference. This, on the other hand, it's not a huge difference. And on top of that, in the Sport Plus mode, it doesn't really hold the car in a lower gear. Like a lot of cars will at least do that so that like it feels quicker because, again, you're in a lower gear. This doesn't even do that. So it's like almost a pointless Sport Plus mode. I found myself literally just driving this in normal mode all the time because, again, it's not a big difference. Now, number 3 is the heads-up display. As you can see, we have a heads-up display here with the Lexus NX. And why am I noted this heads-up display? Well, guess what? They've moved a lot of functions that are normally in the gauge cluster to the heads-up display, so they pretty much force you to use it. As you can see, for like that function with changing like radio stations, all that kind of stuff. And so like, fine, fair enough. Also, it's like easier to change the cruise control stuff by looking at the heads-up display rather than looking at the gauge cluster because there's a lot going on here. So like, again, I got used to it over the course of me driving the car, but at the same time, I don't know, I'd rather just have stuff in the gauge cluster than the heads-up display. I get the benefit of this from a safety tech because perspective, I can't talk. I get the benefits of this from a safety tech perspective because, again, you're gonna be looking at the road rather than down below. But yeah, takes a second to get used to, I suppose. Number 4 is the cruise control. Oh wow, we're talking about cruise control with the Toyota. Toyota having non-intuitive cruise control? Well, that is news to me. I'm being sarcastic because they used to have like the stalks here off to the side that was, well, it worked, but it was kind of annoying. So, for the cruise control, you press this button and that turns the cruise control on. But you guys will probably notice there is no marked button for distance setting, or, because this has adaptive cruise control, or for the speed, frankly. And that's because you have to use these little buttons right here for the cruise control. And guess what? This button also adjusts other things here. You guys can see with the heads-up display, which I get it. A lot of automakers are going for this like minimalist design here with their steering wheels because they don't want a ton of buttons. But at the same time, it took me forever to get the cruise control adjusted. Like, I turn the cruise control on and I'm like, okay, what next? What next? And I'm trying to look, and then like it's like, oh, okay. And I started pressing buttons, and then this started changing the speed, and then also changed the distance and all that. And on top of that, this just has like haptic feedback. So like you guys can see here, I'm just sliding my finger on it. And so yeah, I'm not a fan of this whole minimalist button design here on the steering wheel with certain functions controlling multiple different functions. It cleans up the design. I like that part of it, but then I don't like the part where I try to turn the cruise control on and I accidentally cancel the cruise control instead of increasing the speed, or I accidentally increase the distance instead of increasing the speed. Like, it's just not intuitive. Now, number 5 is the price. Okay, well, we got the window sticker here for the NX, and you guys can see base price $46,650, which isn't too bad for, you know, a luxury car as a starting price. And again, that's for the NX 350 F Sport. Now, after all options on this, and this one stickers for $55,510. And you know what? Not all of these options are necessary, but a lot of them you're probably going to want if you're getting a luxury car, right? And that's the thing that's interesting about a lot of these modern luxury cars is like the base luxury car is not really a luxury car. You have to add options to make it a luxury car over compared to like a non-luxury car, if that makes sense. But again, this is a smaller sized crossover and it's over $50,000, which I understand the prices of everything have gone up by a massive amount since the whole COVID supply chain issue thing. But at the same time, yeah, it's a lot. I remember when NX is loaded up, we're in the $40,000 range, and so yeah, crazy times. That's going to sum things up for the 5 things that I don't exactly like about the all-new Lexus NX. With that being said, I will see all of you in that next video.